There is crap everywhere. Well, it looks vacant now. You're not gonna believe. People have been living in this thing and telling me they're gonna leave. So I've been checking on it. Now it looks like it's vacant. So we'll go see, huh? I really hope nobody's living here. This thing is roached. Oh man, there's been... Hello? Here we go again. Oh, check it out, a trap door. Hello? I don't think anybody's here. It is now official, nobody is here. Hello? Oh my God, smell this thing. Oh. Just another Saturday, folks, just another Saturday. All right, well, let's check out the outside and let this place air out a little bit. Oh, damn! All right, well, let's see what it looks like out here. There is crap everywhere. Now this is a house that's been occupied. I knocked on the door about 3 weeks ago and they said, hey, you know, we're in the process of moving, so just give me a little time and I'll get out of here. And I was like, cool. So I've been doing drive-bys. I drove by a couple times and it's been looking the same. So it looks like they're gone. So we'll check it out. And sure enough, now they're gone. So let's just see what we got going on here now. This place is thrashed. I don't know about this. Nothing's locked up. It's just wide open. Never been mowed all year so far. And there is trash everywhere in here. Check out the garage. Oh, nice. The whole roof is caved in. It's propped up with some posts here. Man, that is not even safe to be in here. You can probably get a good shot from over here. You can see how the walls are bowed out and busted. Oh, dude, lift it up and check out the roof. I'm up to my knees in weeds and grass. All right, we'll get this thing all shot. I'll order the crew. We'll get this whole yard cleaned up, all the trash hauled out of here. Clean out as much trash from the garage as we can safely do. We'll probably get bids on that garage to have it demoed all together. I mean, that's seriously a liability. And if you're a bank, you don't want that kind of liability hanging over you. You know, I don't care how worthless the house is. You still don't want that kind of liability. So we're gonna get bids and get that garage demoed. It's gonna be expensive. This is going to be a total loser for the bank. It's hard to believe, but it's better than the liability. So you got to face up to it and take care of it. You tell that folks weren't paying their electric bill either. Didn't have the money to pay the mortgage. Probably aren't going to pay the utilities. I don't know how long they had to be living here without any utilities. Oh, wow. This looks like an interesting porch system, don't it? Yeah, that looks safe. Yeah. Totally unsafe, so why don't I just go get on it, right? Yeah, I don't think I'm going to even encourage anybody to use that at all. We'll get that hauled out of here. Just another glamorous day in the world of real estate. Oh, jeez. It's empty. Who knows how many people have been in here. I asked them to give me a call when they leave. Sure. Sure. Yeah, check it out. They had a wood stove here. That's probably what they were using for heat since there's no power. Here we got nice kitchen. Oh my God.
Thanks.
Damn. 2 bedrooms and a bath. Just thrashed. Thrashed. This is where I get on my soapbox and ask, well, you're trying to postpone and delay and stop all these foreclosures. Look what's going on. I'm not saying this goes on in every house, but you've seen the houses we're in. What's going on here? Oh yeah, here we go. We got water running. Check out that shower, dude. And you let me know if you think the people were really trying to save their house here. This place is roached. What is this dump gonna be worth, you know? Boy. Somehow I gotta believe there was a way to modify this mortgage to keep this homeowner in here.
Let's get realistic.
Come on, let's get real, people. Every house we find a weapon. Another day at the office.
Who wants some?
Who wants some? My favorite part, the basement. All right, let's see what we got down here. Forget it, it's pitch black down here, dude. I have to get a flashlight before I can even see what's going on down here. I'm gonna call the boys, get this thing secured, trash out done, get approval, get it cleaned up, and get it on the market. It's early summer now, and we gotta get this thing up and running, in shape, on the market, and sold for what it will sell for now. Because let me tell you something, come this fall, prices are gonna drop more so than they did last fall. And this winter is gonna be ugly, people. Worse than it was last winter. So anybody that's expecting a recovery come third quarter of 09, you can forget that. That is not happening. That is hoping. And you know what they say about hope? It's nice to hope. It's okay, but you better get real at some point or you're gonna end up with a situation like this. Oh God, another day in the life. I want to tell you a little something about these mortgage modifications. You hear about how we got to keep people in their home, right? We got to keep them in their home because it's good for the neighborhood. I have sold 100 houses a year for the last several years, and there hasn't been one single neighbor ever complained that the house sold for less than what they paid for their house. Every single time they've been glad it got sold. That's the most important thing. Becomes a productive member of the community rather than a deteriorating factor. And the longer these houses sit, the longer it takes, the worse it gets. That's my message, and that's the bottom line. You know, think about it this way. Mr. and Mrs. Johnson got a $200,000 mortgage. And they took it out, you know, maybe 2 years ago, and they qualified for a $200,000 mortgage, and that's nice. Mr. and Mrs. Johnson are living in their house. Mr. or Mrs. Johnson, one of them, you know, through circumstances, who knows, one of them isn't working anymore. Whether they got laid off, had an illness, etc., etc. Bottom line is, Mr. and Mrs. Johnson can no longer afford the mortgage. The big idea now is, hey, let's modify this mortgage so that Mr. and Mrs. Johnson can afford to stay in the house, because that's really what's good for the neighborhood. Okay, and that's really what's good for Mr. and Mrs. Johnson. Mr. and Mrs. Johnson think that sounds like a good idea. So what's the bank do? They take that 30-year mortgage and they amortize it now for 40 years. And if that won't get them down to a payment that they can afford, which is 37% debt to income ratio, then they'll lower the interest rate. And they'll keep pounding that interest rate down to as much as 2, maybe 3%, until they can get them down to a payment they can afford. But the thing is, that $200,000 mortgage is for a house that's now worth $150,000. Talk about predatory lending. And the banks are being incented by the government by thousands of dollars to complete these things on every modification they can do. So every time they complete one of these modifications, they're receiving thousands of dollars in incentives from the government. And the question is, where do you think the government's getting their money? You, the taxpayer, you are now subsidizing the same subprime products that we say caused these problems 2 years ago. There's 3 options, I think. Get to foreclosure and get it into the hands of someone that can afford it. No blame to the individuals. Get it on the market, sell it for what it'll sell for, ask the bank to take a short sale, or do a deed in lieu. Get the property back to the hands of the bank and let Mr. and Mrs. Johnson get back on their feet with a base and earning income and growing again. That's the best thing that can happen. Other than that, you're exacerbating the problem and making it worse by spreading it out over a longer period of time.